Okay, good morning. We're learning a Maimer in Alter Rebbe's Likuti Torah. This Maimer is known to be called Maym Rabim, which translates to many waters. It's a verse in the Song of Songs. Many waters would not be able to put out the love. And this Hasidic discourse comes to give an answer to the claim that the trouble, the tribulations, the worries of sustenance are disturbing a Jew from serving God properly. Someone might say that if he would sit in a yeshiva, or back then it was a tent, and he was freed from worrying about livelihood, he would be able to pray devotion. But now that he is busy with all his parnas trouble, with worrying about his livelihood, he is unable to do it. So to this comes the answer of the Alter Rebbe, that love of God is planted in the soul of a Jew, stronger than all worries. Moreover, by dealing with these concerns, the love of God intensifies, even greater than someone who is sitting in a tent. So someone who would sit in a tent would not be able to reach this love that someone who actually goes out there and works and he has these worries. Question if he needs to have the worries, but over here the discussion is more of like how to deal with them. Let's see, Maym Rabim many waters would not be able to put out the love, and the many waters are not going to put it out, are not going to wash it away. So using the word Maym, and then we use the word Nehois. Nehois is rivers, but the same idea. Then the pasuk in Shir Hashirim, chapter 8, verse 7, it says, it ends off that if a person would give Hoin Beisa, which means his entire wealth, for love, people would laugh at him, would mock him. Let's see what it means. Maym Rabim the Rebbe tells us many waters are referencing to the worries of parnasa, of livelihood, and the thought about worldly matters. Meaning that the worries for livelihood are confusing, called mevalbalim, are confusing, and Likuti Torah, the heart, the mayach, are called Maym Rabim, many waters. For example, someone who drowns in a big oceans or big river, Mishikosu, it says, Hivo Maym ad nefesh. The waters coming like nefesh. Okay. Ve'im kol zeh, on top of that, the yuchlu chabes esavo. But nevertheless, although it's many waters, gushing river, but it's not going to put out the love that a Jew has to God. It says why? Because the love that we possess is much stronger than all these worries. It says Shu b'chinat ahava mesuteret, hidden love. Sheyesh b'chol nefesh Yisrael teva. Every Jew has it in his nature, meaning it's a gift, inheritance. He has it in him. V'chinas nefesh elokit shetiva la'alot u'likarel tamid lamala k'shelevet olam meleh. Meaning that the love that every Jew possesses to God is like the godly soul, meaning has the nature, b'teva mibchinat nefesh elokit, has the nature of the godly soul. And what is the nature of the godly soul? Is to constantly ascend, to go on high, like a fire that constantly trying to reach higher and higher. So that's why, even though you might argue that the worries of livelihood consumes your day, might be your main occupation, the entire day you're busy with working in your job and worrying about different aspects of your job, but deep inside there is love to God that cannot be put out. As King Solomon says, many waters lo yochlu lechabot et ha'ava. So they are unable to wash away the love that we have for God. Shira Shirim, chapter 8, verse 7. Yeah. So he says they will not be able to put out the love. What love? The love that a Jew has to God. כמו שכתוב, לאל מיני רשפיה רשפי אש, שלהבת כה. Right? So the reshafeh referencing to the intensity of the love that we have to God. Meaning it's like a blazing fire. שהוא בחינת שלהבת הבא מלמעלה שהיא נפש אלוקית. So what is this? Shalhevet is a flame. It tells us that this flame is gifted to us from above. There's nothing that we did, but we have it. Every Jew has it.
You got love. The Shalhevet is love, right?
Fiery love.
Heat kind of.
No, fiery love. There is love, and there is fiery love. So every Jew has fiery love to God, and that's why, even though he's busy all day with worries and trying to run here, run there, but deep inside he has this love. It cannot be washed away. So before the nefesh elokit, before the godly soul was invested, what's the difference between a Jew and a goy? Right? So we said
this love that is.
I'm explaining.
No. Even if God is mad at us, even if we do something bad, it stays the same love.
No one can wash it away. It always stays the same.
Even though you do sin?
Nothing to do with sinning, nothing to do with occupations, nothing to do with anything. It's like a gift that every Jew is born, he has nefesh elokit, he has a godly soul in him. If he chooses to use it or not, it's his choice, but it's there, dormanted. So what I'm trying to say is that before the neshama came down to the body, the difference between a Jew and a goy is a goy has nefesh ba'amit, an animalistic soul. We also have an animalistic soul, but we also have a godly soul, right? So the godly soul is the gift from above. So he writes, before it came into the body, the physical body, meaning your godly soul was there in heaven, receiving and benefiting and enjoying the ray of the Shekhinah, of the divine presence. And had a perfect unity with the Ein Sof, with Hashem. Therefore, since its origin is such a high place, even afterwards, meaning even though your godly soul is now planted in a physical body, you have a physical body, and inside that body there is a godly soul, and you are asuk or sick or occupied b'inyanim gashmim, in physical things. Similarly, there's no connection. Although you have a diamond in you, but the diamond is in the rough. The diamond is busy with stupidity. Maym Rabim, it's called the many waters that are coming, many thoughts, many ideas. The mind is occupied with physical things from the morning to the evening. Nevertheless, lo yochlu lechabota, they are unable to wash away this godly soul. So what is the nature of the godly soul? It's constantly to have love, passion, desire, to ascend on high.
So what do we do with the guy who has really good deeds and he's a good people and he does what Hashem wants him to do, even so he doesn't have the godly soul.
There is heaven for the goyim and there is heaven for Jews.
Okay.
So they will be rewarded for what they do, for all the positive things they do.
There's always good people.
But over here it tells us that people might say, look, 99% of the day I'm occupied with physical things. I'm occupied with my needs. So therefore, my love to Hashem is not revealed, and I don't know if I have it, I don't have it. So it tells you every Jew has it. That's number one. Number two, it cannot be pushed away. It cannot be washed away. It cannot be completely forgotten. It's there.
It's what you do with it.
Ultimately, we'll have to see in the Ma'amar, is going to explain how to awaken it, right? But number one, you should know that it's there and it's not undermined. It's not compromised. It's there. Can never be taken away. ואדרבה, לידי התלבשותה מים רבים, יכולה להגיע מדרגה יותר גבוהה מכל שירדה לעולם הזה כאשר התברר. He says, godly soul descending into the physical body, and the fact that the body is occupied with material things, the godly soul itself will receive elevation, will get to a higher place. Okay? Because of it being in the body. Otherwise, why to do the trip to begin with? What was the purpose of the trip? The purpose of the trip is to get to a higher level. והנה, בחינת מים רבים נקראת מי נוח. It says, מים רבים is like the water of Noach. It's associated with the parasha. מי נוח is the many waters, the flood. כמו שכתוב, אשר נשבעתי, Hashem made a promise, מעבור מי נוח עוד על הארץ. You shouldn't have, God forbid, another flood. כן נשבעתי מקצוף עלייך ומגור בך. A statement in Bereshit Rabbah, where it says that Hashem made a promise not to create the flood again, and not to have the same type of wrath or anger against the Jewish people. כן נשבעתי מקצוף עלייך ומגור בך. In general, not to have the same type of anger. So what is Noach? כי הנה נוח נייחא דרוחא, שבחינת שביתה כאדם השובת מלאכתו. We know in Hebrew the word Noach is the word nach, resting. He writes, נייחא דרוחא. Noach brought peace to the world, tranquility to the world. בחינת שביתה, he's resting. כאדם השובת מלאכתו, like someone that just finished his job and he's resting. כמו שכתוב, it says in Bereshit, וישבות ביום השביעי. Hashem rested on the seventh day. And what is the how Unkelus translated וישבות ביום השביעי, Hashem rested on the seventh day? He says, ונח ביום השביעי. He rested in the seventh day. So he translated the word וישבות, shvita, like resting, ונח. B'yom HaShevi'ah. Because Unkelus translate to Aramaic, so this is v'nach. So the word Noach represents menucha, resting. Uma shekatuv Noach bet pamim. If you look at the first verse in this week portion, it says, Ele toldot Noach ish tzaddik. So the word Noach is written twice, seemingly redundant. You could have said, Ele toldot Noach, Haya ish tzaddik. What is Ele toldot Noach? Noach ish tzaddik. Twice the word Noach is written one after the other. Mm-hmm. So he explains, according to Kabbalah, to Hasidut, he says there's two Noach. Noach represents menucha, right? Resting. There is Naicha de Elai and Naicha de Tetai. Meaning there is rest upstairs and rest downstairs. It says the fact that we have Shabbat down here, it means that there is Shabbat upstairs, right? The lower Shabbat represents the higher Shabbat. Ultimately, in time of Mashiach,
the whole week will be Shabbat.
Yeah, it says Yom day entirely Shabbat. Mashiach Shabbat ita no kulo Shabbat. So it says in Shabbat the higher Shabbat is like the time of Mashiach. It's a day that the entire day is Shabbat, the entire day is resting.
Every day.
When it comes to Shabbat Ita, the lower Shabbat, it says Mashenk eno kulo Shabbat. Something is missing. It's not completely Shabbat. So I have to see what is missing over here. Seemingly, the concept of a flood doesn't make sense. Why? If Hashem just wanted to destroy and to remove, eradicate the sinners, why did he need to make to make so much noise? Hashem wanted to get rid of them. Could have got rid of them without the flood. Why do you have to make a flood to destroy them? If you want to get rid of the wicked and the sinners, get rid of them. You're going to kill them anyway. So kill them and live Noah. He doesn't have to build the ark. He doesn't have to spend a year in the water. Just get rid of them. Why to destroy the whole world? It said really the Mabul, the flood, came to purify the earth. Shenemar says in this week Parsha, Ki mala haaretz chamas v'nitkalkela mod v'eintzach letara. It says this land was full of Hamas. What is Hamas? So Rashi tells us that two things. Thievery and promiscuity. These two things. He says if you find these two things in combination in a place, you should know this place is not going to last for too long. Bring destruction. So, Mala'atz Hamas, thievery, robbery, and promiscuity. These two things.
Markers around the
markers of the land, stealing.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you have a land and they steal from your land. Whatever it is that they could steal, they're stealing. And you write nitkalkela me'od, meaning the land was really got defected or ruined by what they were doing. Vayan yitzrach letara, and needed to purify the land. And that's why the Mabul, the flood, that's why the flood came. Shu bechinas mayim. It says it was water in order to purify the impure. Shu kedugmas hamikveh. It's like the mikveh. What is the mikveh? Mikveh has 40 seah. Has to have 40 seah of water. 200 and something gallons, right? She that needs to purify the impure. So Mabul came to do mikveh to the world, to purify the earth. It's written, Hashem will sprinkle pure water. That's the prophecy that at the time of Mashiach, Hashem will sprinkle water of purity, and He will purify us.
656.
And second, and that's why it says, according to what we learned before, why the Navi, the prophet, is calling the Mabul. If it's a flood, call it a flood. Why are you calling it Maym Noach, the water of Noach? This water of Noach, Noach means resting, tranquility, peace. Peace up here, peace up there. But Maym Noach, you calling the flood the water of Noach means that you're going to wash away, you're going to destroy the world. That's not Noach. It's the opposite of Noach. But it's called Noach because the outcome of it brought purity and ultimately brought rest to the world. like any rest that comes after a war, after there's a great tumult from something, and then comes the ultimately comes to an end and brings rest. But primarily, it says that brought purification to the world. Shall be continued.
Okay, you think I should tell him I should take him after we learn, or I could take him now? You don't want to wait for me to come?